Yo, this that nigga Pomatic in Chicago, Chirac, whatever you want to call it, in Atlanta, David, you know what I'm saying? Niggas, I just want to clear something up about Chicago niggas, you know what I'm saying? They say we on a whole nother page, something like some third world shit. But what a lot of niggas don't understand about Chicago niggas is that, goddamn it, we going through it, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be a fucking warrior. And we so much, it's so much ingrained in us that our females warriors, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's like cut and dry shit. Ain't no 9999 shit, ain't no, you know, Amigo shit, you know, tight pants, designer, you know, the average Chicago nigga ain't on that, you know what I'm saying? So, like they said, they opened up the AI machine in Chicago and they're using it as a recognizance program to see who can commit a crime or really pre-predict what a nigga can do because, you know, niggas out here wilding out. But basically I made this shit about Incarnate, and I don't know if any of you seen it, but in Netflix, that's similar to Fallen with Denzel. So if you ain't seen it, niggas, you need to watch it. By it being December 21st and the planets lining up, if you ain't seen it, females, bros, you need to watch it. That shit is real. That's why the Arab come to so close to the hood, because they got to use the magical looch of the dark energy of the black man to make that shit work. But at the same time, to not become absorbed into it, they got to pray 5 times a day. You see what I'm saying? So they call it the jinn. You know what I'm saying? We call it the devil, but that's not really what the fuck that is. You know what I'm saying? It's an archetype. And if you go to gematria, you'll know it's called Azazal in Aramaic. In English, it's called Deshaun something. I forgot his last name, but they got an English name to this nigga. And these are entity archetypes, and some are powerful, some are just weak. And the way they enter you, like me and Blau said on hoodx.com, and the hoodx lit, is that they call them shadow walkers. Now, Agent Smith is a like technical entity that can jump in and out of, like, say, electrical products, TV, all that type of shit, you know what I'm saying? But Shadow Walkers is Incarnate on Netflix. That's an entity. And they here, and they've been here so damn long, they bored. And what they can do is, like he said on there, they jump into the weak, which is the weak-minded. And how they look when they showed you on that on Incarnate, the computer, your mind is like Wi-Fi, and it was going gleaming bright orange. And by bringing bright orange, that's the signal you possess. And then it looked at the shorty signal that was possessed by, I'm just going to say Azazal or Shadow Walker ANUNIKKI, and it was green, but it had dark spots in it. And if you notice in that movie, Incarnate, the man would say, do not call them entities, call them parasites. So now we're going to figure, okay, well, why would he say such a thing as call them parasites? Because if we want to go, you don't got no imagination, then you can't use shadow walkers and shit like that, because the average person, if they don't have an imagination, they cardinal, they don't understand. So they can understand parasites. And what a parasite do, everybody know it feed off the energy of his host and become more of him than the host it already is. So we're going to use the entity as parasites. And a lot of things we take in is parasitic, which is acidic. You know what I'm saying? So acidic create parasites. Parasite feeds on acidic shit. So liquor, spirits, acidic, you drink it, it got spirits on there. You softening up your blow for him to come in. So that's why, just as an example, is liquor. That's why if I get drunk, I just cross over. I don't get drunk, I drink to cross over to be like, if I got to deal with a motherfucker, which I know he got an incarnate spirit in it or a Zazel behind it, a lot of times they can't just come in your house. You got to invite them in when they come in. I don't get upset. I just kick it with them. But it's going to take me a little bit of the drinking to deal with this motherfucker so I can relax. Because how do you know you sitting down and everything cool and you realize you're dealing with an entity? You know what I'm saying? You can't freak out. You got to be cool. So I talk to the entities, you know what I'm saying? But in a nutshell, I'm going to give you an example like King Von. Now what happened is the entity in the movie Incarnate, it said they want to up themselves in ranks. They want to move up in ranks. So if you look at the rap game, that entity, I don't know his name, it was a female on there, but that entity have took over in ranks in the rap game. And you got to do that type of shit to get down. So if you're looking at it like that, we're going to use King Von. Now King Von, the more drugs they give you or not, or the more fame you get, the more you go into the ego. And the ego is Deshaun taking over, which in Gematria, it's in the chart of everybody's name who get on that ego shit, or Azazel. And what the Azazel do or the entity do is want to take over the body, but they use the ego. So it give you more money, more shit, more drugs, and it enters you. Once it enters you, it can take over the body and do what the fuck it want to do. So if you're looking at King Von and you listen to the manager is trying to tell y'all that, man, King Von sitting there, it was weird. You know, he's sitting there for hours. He breathing. So I roll up a blunt. We smoke a blunt. He's still sitting here. He's still sitting here. And all of a sudden he jump out, get out, the guy come up, he go Azazal, he go Incarnate. Hey, Vaughn, here go Quando Rondo. Oh shit. Goddamn, he get out the car, then like that. So you gotta understand what Vaughn was going through was that Shadow Walker, that entity was trying to enter his body, and at least the nigga was trying to fight it. So he's sitting here, and he already know, but you know, by that time ain't nobody telling you no, ain't nobody telling you yes. He had to, you know, it already took over his body. Azazal took over his body. And what Azazal did was he was tired of that nigga and they wanted a new nigga, which was Quando Rondo. So, goddamn it, King Von got him, stole on Quando Rondo, goddamn it, they house and turn and the dude shot Von. Von, goddamn it, grabbed Quando Rondo by his chest and transferred itself into his body. So now Von looking at Quando Rondo, not Von, but like an Incarnate. Von is in a sleep-like state, and in that sleep-like state, you think you woke. So when you look at Incarnate, the dude was partying. And the reason he was partying because in the motherfucking mind, that's what he think he really doing in life. But if you go to reality, nigga, you sitting up here on the ceiling, goddamn it, shaking. So that's how it was. He was in a hyper state in another dimension. So he got up. So the entity jumped off of Von and jumped off Quando Rondo. Now it's looking at Von letting go, and he like, oh, get your nigga here up, and Quando Rondo dip off. You know he ain't gonna get caught. So if you're looking at Vlad TV or the interview he did with the black dude, Quando Rondo was talking about he was Scarface and all this wild shit. You seen the entity. He was talking crazy. And if that was the full-blown, through the drugs and the SERP, the full-blown entity on Incarnate, Azazal, or Shadow Walker, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And what it do is to take over the ego and become of that person over time. And money locks it in. Money locks that nigga into that ego. So I advise y'all to, if I was y'all, I would watch it. And you got to understand, a lot of people that come around you and come to your house or in your presence, they be under this influence. And if you can't really, you know, like, you don't know this shit, you know what I'm saying? And an alcoholic, you'll notice that they fully be taken over, you know what I'm saying, to where the entity starts shaking because it need to feed. So you got to think this motherfucker ain't drunk in 2 days. This motherfucker like, oh shit, and it's a parasitic mind frame, which is parasite. Liquor create acid, and acid feeds parasites. Other drugs do too. You know, the whole idea of a liquor mind. And now that we in the age of Aquarius, which we going into on top of a planetary lineup, y'all got to consider y'all going to go forward into spirituality or into the ether or to become more like God or goddess, or you're going to go backward into the darkness. Like the women say, all women are going to spirituality, which is witchcraft. And it's like, no, that's just the, like a lady said, that's just the basic nature of the woman throughout the Bible. You know, Samson and Delilah, Adam and Eve, you know, y'all, the whole thing to a woman is to control a nigga, destroy a nigga. If she not in moving forward in the planetary alignment, and the whole thing to a nigga, if he going backwards, is to fall asleep and make the woman more crazy because he don't know how to use the words or have any words to discipline her fucked up mental. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put it. So if a woman ever say I run this shit, that means she is insane because it's just like a baby and a mama. You know, you around kids all day, you're going to think you run shit subconsciously in the world because you're dealing with kids and you tell them what to do. But if you run a nigga, you're going to think you can still run that same shit on the next person that's around you because this nigga's not telling you, no, this ain't how we think. This ain't how it's supposed to go. So it's fucked up both ways, you know what I'm saying? And in turn, they become both insane and delirious. So in that, I say Incarnate kick in, which is the Shadow Walkers, and they can live in this reality all day of two negative motherfuckers coexisting. Like I said, that's Poe and I'm out, Joe. And watch Incarnate. My fault. Watch that movie.